Financial gap is straining my relationship. I am 27, my boyfriend is 34. We have been together a little over a year. We met about 2 years ago when he started frequenting the restaurant I am a bartender at. It is a high-end place and he would regularly be there with his business associates. He is a real estate investor and does quite well, and his family is also well off. I'm talking millionaire. When he would come in we would talk and I'll be honest, he is super interesting. He's traveled all over, lives on a lake, likes skydiving and base jumping, scuba diving, camping, hiking, kayaking, white water rafting. I mean, he is a dream man. On top of that, he is extremely attractive, fun, kind, caring, generous. He is a pediatric cancer advocate. His sister passed as a kid from cancer, and he donates and volunteers a lot, so yeah, it made me weak in the knees. The issue is, I am a bartender. I do fine, but the kinds of things he is constantly wanting to do I can't always afford. Sometimes he will pay for me so I can be involved, but obviously not always, and I wouldn't want that anyways. For example, one of his friends recently decided she wanted to go to flight school and start working on getting her pilot license. The whole thing will cost about $20,000 in total. He thought it sounded cool, so he signed up for ground school with her. It's a 10-week program and it costs around $400. Then there are flight time requirements, instruction, lessons, and that is all super expensive. It will be a regular thing, that they will be doing together over the next year or so. It sounds really cool, and I'd love to join in, but I don't have that kind of disposable income. He and his friends like to frequent expensive restaurants, and if he invites me he will pay, but he doesn't always because he knows I can't afford it and don't like him always paying. He and his friends like to take random trips and fly first class, which again, I can't afford, so I don't usually get to go, unless he offers to pay. And again, I don't want him to always have to pay, so a lot of times he goes alone. Can this work? I don't want him to pay for me, and I get it's his money to spend as he wants, and I would honestly do the same if I was in his position, but I feel like I can't keep up in his world. How can anyone really expect to keep up financially with a millionaire in the first place? It can definitely work, but if you're someone who really values financial independence, then it's going to be a struggle. You'll need to set boundaries and communicate those with him. You need to talk to him up. My advice? Have a talk with him. Be honest. Tell him how you feel and what you're comfortable with. Ask him what he feels comfortable with. I think this more about you fearing that you are coming across as a gold digger when you're not. He clearly likes you. He knows you're a bartender. I think when he invites you to places, he's probably already planning on paying. And he probably would if you could afford it or not. Because he just wants to spend time with you and the price of dinner is worth it. I'm just thinking how I'd be with my best friend if I won the lottery. I would treat him all the time. I would suggest occasionally asking him out on dates that you can afford and you can treat. I think there's a pride block you may need to figure out if you can get past here. If $20,000 on a whim is nothing to him, then it's also nothing to him to pay for dates or a flight to have your company on a trip. In fact, the value he gets out of it is likely worth way more to him than the money, which is immaterial to someone who's wealthy. My boyfriend said this when I felt guilty about him splashing out on me. It makes me happy to spend money on the people I care about and I have it to spend. It's just money to me. If you really can't see yourself allowing him to pay for the more extravagant things, then that's fine too, but he may want someone he can include in all of this. That's for the two of you to figure out. If he actually likes you. Money has nothing to do with it. Just keep being you and let him fall in love. Obviously you attracted him somehow, right? Financial differences in relationships are common, but they can certainly work. I know plenty of people who make far more than their spouses. However, it sounds like he doesn't really understand and or accept that you earn less than him and, therefore, can't afford to spend money the way that he does. So, what I suggest is, if you otherwise seem very happy being with him, and if he seems equally interested in you, then maybe you can work things out. But, you both need to sit down and have a real talk about finances in the relationship, both now and in the future. Maybe you can reach some kind of mutually agreeable arrangement, and maybe you can't. But if things are otherwise good, it's worth at least trying to work through things together, rather than just giving up. I think you guys should do more activities in your price range more often. I earn 3 times what my wife does, she does just fine, not trying to do a pissing contest. Married 16 years, together probably 20. Yeah, I know. I should know. We've had ups and downs, but we've ended up fine. When we were dating years ago, I paid for everything and never bat an eye. I guess never really gave it much thought. But apparently the new mantra is 50-50 on days. Which I'll never understand. Just like I'll never understand a guy that can't change a car tire. The weird thing is, I grew up broke, and she grew up in money. So it bothered me sometimes. Shit just has a funny way of working out if it's going to. I feel like you are more into him than he is with you. And he is not willing to deepen the relationship with you. If he felt close to you and wanted to enjoy these experiences with you, he would take you most the time. Even if he had to go coach. And you wouldn't mind him paying because you would be full partners. How can I help my girlfriend, 26F, cope with the fact that I'm, 25M, living her dream, and she's not? It's a long story, I'll try my best to sum it up. I, 25M, lost my dad when I was a little kid. Growing up I spent a lot of time at my best friend's house. That friend has become my girlfriend when we were in high school, and we're still together, almost 10 years later. Her dad is a surgeon and a very charismatic person, and naturally we both wanted to be like him when we grew up. Here comes the rough part. I'm currently training as a surgeon in her dad's field. My girlfriend never passed the medical admission test, and has gotten more and more stuck in another field. In the last 7 years, since I began med school and she hasn't moved on a single bit. It's recently gotten worse, because we are both beginning our careers after university. I like mine, she's unhappy with hers. I'm now wondering if, just by living our common dream, I'm doing more harm than good to her. I would never want to break up with her. You can tell how important we are to each other from our story. Our relationship is more important than any job for both of us. I just want this poor girl to find peace. I'd do anything to pull her out of this hole she's stuck in. What could I do? I see no easy answers. P.S. I want to clarify that she's in no way guilting me or making me feel bad about my job. She's as supportive as she could be, but it's also very clear that it's eating her from the inside. Too long did not read. Both wanted to become MD, I am, she's not, she's unable to cope with it and move on. I don't know what to do to help her, when I'm part of the problem. She probably would benefit from therapy. It's not very helpful advice to just say, she just needs to get over it, when it comes to a lifelong dream. She needs a professional to help her cope with her feelings about it and gain tools to help her cope with watching someone live her dream while she cannot. She would also likely fare better if she weren't openly unhappy with her new career path, whatever it may be. Most people have multiple things they enjoy. Some don't. Some people just really have one thing and that's it. So it seems strange to choose to go into a career you hate when you could likely find something you at least feel neutrally about, much less enjoy. The whole reason you made this your life goal was because the two of you wanted to emulate her father. So maybe have him talk to her and get her to pursue something fulfilling. Money won't really be a problem, I'm guessing. Excuse the silly question. What is stopping her from doing the test again? There are other careers in medicine that she would find fulfilling. PA, DO, and so forth. She has to get over it honestly. She can go back and try again, but if she doesn't feel up for that then she can't really be upset. No one at fault, it's the way life works. You win some, you lose some. Wow, I feel her. I made it to med school and realized after 2 years and $200K plus debt that I wasn't good enough and have had to start my life over. It's tough. I couldn't imagine living with someone who's getting to live the dream. But honestly, she can make it. Just keep being attentive and supportive. I crumbled in my shell. The fact that she still tries is remarkable and inspiring. Just keep loving her. She needs therapy. This is going to eat away at her and hurt everything else in life. Is she okay with that? She needs to get past this. Frankly, she's the one hurting herself. It's probably very difficult for her, but there's nothing you can do to fix it. I'd say find a gentle way to bring it up. Maybe ask how work is going, how she feels about her job, career. Ask how she feels about you continuing in your career. Find a way to explain you can see what she's going through and just want to help her. Of course you aren't the person for her to talk to about this, so suggest she find a therapist to speak to. Make it clear you want to help her through this, and help her find a path forward where you are both happy and fulfilled in your careers. Girlfriend is depressed after an abortion. We're both broke college students and can't afford taking care of a kid. I want children with her in the future, but now is not the right time. The kid wouldn't be happy and we wouldn't be able to finish our degrees, so we both agreed that an abortion is the best option. She took the pills a few days ago and still has extreme cramps and feels really sick. But she's hurting much more mentally. She told me she feels like she killed our baby. All she thinks about is what our kid could have grown up to be, and to be honest I wonder that too. I think we underestimated how hard it'd be for her because we're both pro-choice. I thought everything would go back to normal after a day or so, but it's like she's actually grieving a family member. She doesn't even want to get out of bed. Have any guys here experienced this with their girlfriend, wife? Or have any women here felt like this after an abortion? I don't know how to make her feel better, and I hate seeing her like this. I cook her favorite food, listen to her vent, hold her and put on her favorite movies, but it doesn't seem to help. I'm at a loss. Sorry for the long post, but I really need to talk to someone. Edit. Thank you all so much for the kind advice. And to all the pro-lifers and religious people, this is not the place for you to preach. Neither I nor my girlfriend care if you think we're bad people. We know we did the right thing because we spared a baby and ourselves a lifetime of misery. This is normal even for people that are pro-choice. You are doing great at helping her, but definitely look into both of you getting therapy. It is not an easy thing to deal with, especially alone. I had a miscarriage and it's a horrible thing to go through. I didn't even know I was pregnant. I was around 2-3 months. It still sucks. Your hormones are messed up and your mind is in the what-if stages. It doesn't matter if you want or don't want the baby, we are biologically made to reproduce. It's for the survival of our species. Give her some time. Pamper her. Be there for her so she knows she isn't alone. It's normal and common, and for her she is grieving a lost family member. When you are pregnant, your body is pumped full of hormones to make our monkey brains love and take care of that baby, and now it's screaming at her. It is extremely unusual for things to just go back to normal after a few days. Weeks is more typical, but some women have severe postpartum depression that lasts months. This will take time and love. Really look into grief therapy or a support group. There has to be something available in a college setting. Encourage her to follow up with her OB/GYN and really talk about it if they are supportive. Just empathize and respect that she has gone through something profound here and do what you can to support her. Just understand her grief process is valid. Sometimes the right choice isn't the easy choice. I am pro-choice. It doesn't mean you want to have one or won't grieve. Most colleges have a few free counseling sessions. Go to Student Life and ask about it. Mine had 4 free sessions. But you have to find it and schedule it. She needs to talk to someone maybe. Just be there. Let her cry. Let her feel. Empathize. Everyone processes this in their own timeline. Honestly, it's gonna take a while. A lot of women, even ardently pro-choice women, struggle after having an abortion. It can take months or years to fully move on. I would recommend she look for a therapist. There are also a lot of support groups for people who have had abortions. This is of course not to say that abortion is bad. It is necessary healthcare. While some people may be just fine in a few days, others will struggle. There is no right or wrong way to feel. Being pro-choice doesn't mean it's an easy choice. It's one that is an important one that you are able to make is all. She is grieving, as I'm sure you are, and has hormones surging. It is a loss. It's okay and normal and right to feel conflicted and wonder about the life that could have been. That doesn't mean you didn't both make the right decision. It's not always an easy one. Keep doing what you're doing. Whether they seem to be working or not isn't as important as her knowing you're there for her, and working through this together. Just be there for each other. Postpartum depression also happens after abortion. As the hormones return to normal, things will likely improve. I had an abortion at the age of 20. Took the pill same way for the assisted miscarriage, and man, it takes a physical and mental toll. I was so sick for about 2 weeks. Now being 25, I don't think about it unless I see things like this. I have never regretted it. It was absolutely the right choice, while maybe a hard one. But I remind myself that having a kid I wasn't prepared for, couldn't afford or provide for, and had no support for would have been a much harder one. It might take a little time, but remind yourself why you made this decision. Just support her and love her through this. My father threatened to ground me if I didn't wear a bra even though I'm completely flat. I'm 16 and live alone with my father. I have never worn a bra for the simple reason that it's pointless to wear one since I have a completely flat chest. My dad came to talk with me about how I'm old enough to wear one and that it makes him uncomfortable that I don't. He also said that if I didn't start wearing one I'd be grounded for a week each time he found out. How do I convince him I don't need one? I am so sorry that for some reason your dad thinks that a certain age equals must wear a bra. You really don't have any power here or control over his opinion. I'd get those thin tanks that have a built-in shelf bra so you'd at least be comfortable. If possible, find a female relative is willing to have some straight talk with him. That's pretty stupid. If you're totally flat, you don't need a bra. You could say you could wear a t-shirt under your clothes if he buys them if it bothers him so much. I'm really sorry you're going through this, it must be so weird and uncomfortable. Lots of peak Reddit in this thread. As many of the sane commenters have mentioned, it's likely a misunderstanding as to the role a bra has in a girl's life, and he's just trying to go about it the best way he knows how. Likely the best course of action is either to do some research yourself up on bra wearing etiquette and requirements for modern times and present to your dad, or find a trusted adult woman to help speak on your behalf. I'd almost guarantee unless your dad is a giga creep, he's just misinformed. If you are comfortable without a bra, especially with a flat or small chest, there is no reason you should have to wear one. If you want to keep the peace though, there are definitely alternatives to traditional or underwire bra styles. I personally find that underwire bras are really uncomfortable with my breast shape. I started wearing sports-style bras. There are a rather large variety of types now, ranging from the intense workout ones, typically thought of, to much lighter ones that can fit under most shirts invisibly. If his issue is visible nipples, the really light style sports bras may not work, though, as some of mine definitely still show the shape of my nips, especially in the cold. But you could try pasties, nipple covers. Tell him to put on an underwire bra and wear it all day too. He'll tell you that 1, it's uncomfortable, and 2, he doesn't need it, which is exactly what your reasons are to not wear one. Also, try to get some support from other women in your family, hopefully ones who don't share this same backward thinking, and ask them to intervene for you. And if all else fails, there are less uncomfortable options like seamless longline yoga bras, which are basically tanks with light padding, that you can easily buy online. I'm sorry you have to go through this. Home is the place where you should feel comfortable and not be judged by someone's idiotic standards on what women should do about their breasts, even if they don't have any. Man, this one is divisive. Your dad isn't being creepy. He had an older standard of ethics and modesty. What he's saying is probably coming from a place of innocent concern. Lots of girls nowadays don't wear bras. It's much less of a stringent social expectation. I don't know where the Redditors in this thread that are really pushing bra wearing are from, but on the West Coast it's pretty normal to see girls who are smaller not wearing them for the same reason you don't want to. Try to have a dialogue with him about it and present these kinds of points. Edit. _op. The Wikipedia article on bralessness includes lots of citations if you'd like some resources to show your dad. I'm not sure why people are saying the father is sexualizing the daughter. I think he's just concerned that sleazebags will notice her nipples or the fact she doesn't have a bra on while she's outside. Just because they're not showing now, it doesn't mean it won't show later. If you're the dad, you don't want to check up on the daughter, stare at her for example, to see if it's showing up yet. I think wearing a bra or not you can decide for yourself when you're older. For now, since you're so young, you can see why the dad thinks it's better to avoid unnecessarily sexual attention. I personally think you dad just knows what the sleazy guys would be thinking and he's trying to look after you.